How's it going, everyone? I'm Andrew.
My name's Drod.
We're here today to talk about Absolute Batman. So, issue number 19 just came out this past week. And before the issue 20 hits, we wanted to have a conversation about this massive chapter in the story. Um, Number one thing I want to talk about, obviously, Absolute Scarecrow. So we've seen a few villains in the series up until now, main ones being Black Mask, Bane, Joker, Poison Ivy, and now we have Scarecrow. And I think it's probably one of the better introductions to a villain we've had. Um, I think in terms of how scary he is, those 2 or 3 pages that he was on did him so much justice. The introduction of Bane in I think like issue 9 or 10, where he was talking to those politicians and he was trying to end that war in the foreign countries. It was basically like on that level where you're just introducing a terrifying entity for Bruce to confront in the coming issues. I want to hear what you think about the other major point in this, where in the middle of the issue, it kind of turned and spoiler alert, someone really, really important in the Batverse dies.
Oh yeah,
What do you think
didn't
about
notice
that
anything.
happening on issue 19 already?
Yeah, I'll just start by saying like this issue is like one of the best paced issues of the whole series. I think when you have the core of like teasing what's next, moving forward what's happening, and then concluding with what's to come, like that's
Yeah.
flawless.
Yeah.
And we have the right creative team for the job. Like something that, just speaking on your point, your question, right? Like obviously we're talking about the big death, right? Like this is
Yeah.
easily one of the most emotional scenes in the entire run so far. It's a huge deal. And it's a mainstay character, right? It's a household name, right? Like this
And
guy
not
was
even in
in.
like absolute, like coming from
Yeah,
mainline
no,
Batman, this is a huge character.
no, like read
So,
Batman Year One by Frank Miller, and it's literally them two. It's like the antithesis of them two, and we just lost one. Like that's
yeah.
crazy. And we're only in issue 19, which I mean only, right? Because normally now it's hard to get anywhere above 10, 12 issues,
Yeah.
especially if you're Marvel.
Yeah,
But
Marvel.
but yeah, I was really impressed by the pacing. I'll say exactly, I totally agree. It was Absolute Scarecrow is intimidating, He that fear toxin stuff, we don't know how his powers work. It's all mysterious. Like something that Absolute Batman's really good that I want to highlight that I reflect on every single time is that I think it's the best series that we have that can subvert your expectations. Like even if you like even if you anticipate what's coming next, you will still be surprised. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the Scott Snyder's able to raise the bar so high, and then Nick Dragotta pairing that artwork, it's so impactful. It's so good.
I think they
So
play
thanks for
into that
yeah,
actually because
for sure,
sorry,
for
but
sure.
like
No,
in
it's easy.
each of the covers and incentive covers, variant covers, whatever, we've been getting a lot of variant covers for this series,
It's a lot
but
of hype.
they
There's a lot
will
of hype.
sort of tease what's coming on social media and stuff for the upcoming issues, and you think you'll know what's going to happen. Like Scarecrow has been teased for months. Snyder's done interviews over half a year ago kind of detailing that like they have enough content in their minds for like even up to issue 50 as of right now. So we've known the Scarecrow stuff, the Deathstroke stuff. It's been coming, but I think just how they're putting it to the page is again the subverting of expectations. Like it's insane that no matter how many people are reading this, no one really can predict what's going to happen next.
No, and even if you have the slightest idea, they somehow still surprise you. Even
Yeah,
even if you predict what they're gonna do, they do it in a way that you'd be shocked. You know,
exactly. Yeah.
everything punches you right in the gut. Everything keeps you, at the forefront of your mind as you're turning pages. It's honestly it's brilliant. And I don't know why I think it's honestly like an older gen versus newer generation thing, but there's so much pushback from like older generations of readers or people who have been doing it so long. They're like, I don't see the hype. Like, don't buy Absolute Batman #1 CGC 9.8. It's not
No.
worth it. That they're like, that's gonna tank. It's gonna tank. It's like, dude, this is like the equivalent for our generations, like, X-Men by Chris Claremont and Jim Lee, right? This is our Frank Miller Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
This is our Spawn. Like, this is a
Yeah.
really big deal. You can't underestimate what resonates with the generation. And, like, I have
Exactly.
no doubt in my if you're not picking this up, you're doing, like, this is essentially an investment at this point, because, bro, pick it up and then wait 2 weeks and it's above retail,
Oh
not
yeah,
including shipping and
absolutely.
handling. So, I mean, no matter what I do, no matter where I'm going, I'm picking up 8 covers. Um, and it's on my pull list. It's not going anywhere for sure.
100%. 100%. And you could say that about the Absolute universe as a whole, but I think Absolute Batman is definitely on everyone's like top 3 list in that universe. But before we talk more about the like Absolute Batman as a whole, or like the Absolute universe as a whole, I kind of want to talk about this issue a little bit more. Going
Definitely.
back to that major death, I I kind of want to. We know Scarecrow's thing is fear toxin. We kind of don't really know the full extent of how it works yet, but I do have a feeling that he's not really dead.
No, dude, he's dead,
I
bro.
do
Did you
have a
not
because
see?
it is issue 19. I feel like they're gonna pull something where in a few issues, it's gonna be revealed that Scarecrow has already like microdosed everyone. So everyone is seeing this death
Yeah, I
in
get.
a way.
I
Cause
mean,
I feel like they just brought him into the loop with him and like, Bruce's dynamic
and
through
the Barbara stuff
Martha.
too.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
yeah.
and especially with Barbara and the Poison Ivy thing, I think it hit, but I don't think the actual death was capitalized in the best way possible. I do think he's not actually dead. I don't know
Uh,
what you think about that, but
well, I say I find your take really interesting. But did you catch the foreshadowing between the Scarecrow? I caught this on my second read. You want to you here?
okay. Yeah, go
Go to
ahead.
the go to the first page. Do you see
Okay.
this symbolism that we get here with this crane sort of deal? You know what
Okay.
that reminds you of? And look at this page. Look at this page
I feel
right
like I
here.
just missed
What does
it.
that remind you of? Right here.
Oh,
With the even the
okay.
color palette. What does that remind you of? It reminds me of this.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. That's the same structure. And if you notice too, in that first page, it's dripping blood. This is a foreshadowing of that inevitable death with this little short parable that we get of Scarecrow. That's why
Okay.
I think I know it's just in the same issue, but I think that's the kind of foreshadowing and the intentionality that would lead to a significant death like that. Also,
Okay.
I don't think they need to play by the rules. This is absolute Batman. This isn't main continuity. That's what makes this fun. That's what makes everyone so invested. They have creative liberties, and I think if they want to pull a death, they can pull it. Because they have a strong cast. Like,
Okay.
that, in my opinion, that's
That's
how I
fair.
feel. I mean,
Maybe that's from me just like, keeping in touch with like DC continuity over the years.
yeah,
No one is actually dead. And like I think
yeah,
the main thing with in main continuity right now, people still can't believe it, is that Alfred's been dead for like over 10 years at this point. And every single year, I think we're all in the back of our minds thinking like, what is the plot device they're gonna use to bring him back? So I
Speed
think this
Force.
is kind of like playing into that like a little bit.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It definitely could happen because you're right. Absolute Universe, they're not playing by the same rules. They can like they don't have to pull their punches with what they're doing to characters, as you can probably already tell for the
yeah.
18 issues leading up to this.
And the second they uh they do this like nonsensical revival, or they do this like plot armor nonsense, that's when the series falls off.
Yeah.
And I think Scott Snyder is smart enough to know that.
Yeah.
I hope DC Publishing is smart enough to know that they let him do his creative liberties, right? um and I mean, this is a little bit sidetracked, but I hope there's a conclusive ending. you know I wouldn't want this to be, a cash grab pumping out money. I think as soon as Scott Snyder drops, as soon as Nick Dragotta drops, cut the series. Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah. Don't switch
don't
creative teams. Do anything
no
like that.
at all costs, bro. Like, we have something great here, and the reason it works is because you have that core team. The same thing with Absolute Martian Manhunter. Thank God that we're not switching out Dennis Camp and it's
Javier
Javier
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez. Yeah, thank God we're stopping at 12. To give them an intermission. They can always come back, But if you put on some like randos, like
Oh yeah, it's gonna lose its identity, and they're
oh
not gonna be the creative team behind
yeah,
everything. You'd rather have it stick one through the ending. You don't want to have that. Like, man,
yeah,
DC has that problem too much ever since like New 52. They
for
just switch
sure.
out creative teams, and sometimes it's for the better, but it's never going to be like the current Flash run, for example, where
Hmm.
now we've switched from I forgot who was on it before the DCKO stuff, but it was really
It was
bad. And then
oh
now
yeah,
we have Ryan North and Gavin Gudry. They took over. First
yeah,
issue
yeah,
was really good. Looking forward to it. But, the Flash mainline is nothing close to the legendary status of Absolute
I was
Batman and the other Absolutes.
I was actually reading that Flash run, bro. I can tell you who was on it. I was reading that Flash run. It was the times were just hard to piece together in your brain, you know. It
Well, the
was the team
tie-ins was
was
well, was it Mark or Joshua Williamson
it
or
was
Mark
Mark Wade,
Wade?
bro. It was
Okay.
Mark Wade. This isn't
Well,
like some amateur.
before the DCKO tie-ins, who was
Oh,
it?
someone different?
Yeah, it was someone different.
Dude, I don't know. I was not tapped in before.
Yeah, I was not tapped into the Flash. I'll tell you, that's how bad it was. I was not buying
I
that shit.
have I have all the DCKO
Yeah,
singles. That's when I started catching them. The
yeah, and
ties.
those were bad. Those were really bad.
No,
Just
they
like the
are bad.
Titans, and also most of the Superman ones were like just not good.
The Superman ones were the best ones, and they were still like
Yeah,
6 out of 10. Like
yeah, like
that's
no.
pushing.
The only
No,
good thing
I mean
about the Superman ones was Superboy Prime just coming out
no,
of
they nailed it.
nowhere.
Nah, they're cooking.
Yeah,
They're cooking with Superboy Prime.
yeah,
Especially, I heard in the most recent issue, he like ended up working at a comic shop. Like that's just good
yeah,
writing,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Like
it's
how
awesome.
do you not? He's a likable character, right? Like he's resonating with audiences. That's all you got to do.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I totally agree. I think he's dead. Just to reinforce my take, I think that these guys, they have the tennis balls to actually do something like that, right?
yeah,
And that's what I like. Like I wouldn't want it to be any other way. I really hope that they can, if they commit to something, they fully commit, right? Which I
okay,
that's the impression I get for sure.
okay.
Because think about this too, like, um, we have what's the guy's name? Waylon the crocodile.
Yeah, Waylon Jones, is it?
Yeah, Waylon Jones. He's like converted to that state. Like, it's like reverting, but like the decision to make him that and to essentially put his character on pause. Like, I think like those are the kind of things, like there's stakes, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I think we're in good shape, genuinely.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, so moving on from that, because we kind of talked
Mhm.
about,
All over
like,
us.
we basically, who died just for the mention of year one, but like, I don't want to say the name exactly. But
Well, so
my
not everyone's read it
favorite,
yet.
yeah, my favorite part of the entire issue is that part when Deathstroke or Slade Wilson is talking to the audience, telling them they need protection. There's like Batman is not there to help the people, but between each of the text panels, you see him like putting on like a fake nose, putting on a fake beard, like he's saying that he can protect the city, but he's not even being honest about himself. And I think it's just super crazy. Him rolling out of bed, he didn't even have legs, he doesn't have ears, he doesn't have a nose, he doesn't have like I don't even know. Like he doesn't have an eye, and he's just kind of like faking this persona to the audience. And this entire it sets up the arc really well, where we also have Joker really trying to manipulate the crowd. He's the favored son of Gotham. Like
Yeah,
he's the Bruce Wayne, that eligible bachelor of Gotham from mainline, now in Absolute. And I think it's just really interesting. I think this arc about the city turning on Bruce is
yeah.
probably going to be the best one yet. I think the setup here is really good.
That's
And we don't even have to
that's a
talk
take,
about the
bro.
Robin stuff yet.
Fact. I mean that absolute Bane arc. I think it's one of, I think Batman as a character's best arcs ever. Like I
Oof.
don't know. I would honestly argue
That-
that, dude. And the reason I argue that is because the stakes felt so real. He was at
yeah.
such a disadvantage, and he overcame it so realistically. Like if you really piece together the scenario he was in and all the trials he went through and how he persevered, there is no truer Batman story than that. And that's what the absolute titles do so well, right? Like if you
Yeah.
read Absolute Batman or Absolute Wonder Woman, for example, right? Like Kelly Thompson is doing it so much better than Tom King, right? Because she understands the character and she is staying so true to the source material. And that's when you think about the absolute universe as a whole, right? All of these characters, they're still core, true, the same people. They're just put at a disadvantage, right?
Yeah.
Absolute Batman is at a disadvantage. So how do you set that up? You know, you take away, you strip his wealth and his affluence, you strip his connections, right? You get him bare bones to his core, and that is highlighted in the Absolute Bane arc so well. Because the only way he beats Bane is through determination and hard work. That's the only way. He doesn't have the tools. He doesn't have, he doesn't even have a sidekick. He's doing it by himself, right? He doesn't even have Robin. So I mean, for me personally, I think that's, I know it's a crazy take, but at least from what I've read, and I haven't obviously read everything, but I think that is like one of the best pinnacle Batman stories. I would put it. This is gonna be another video. I would put it above. I would put it above the Dark Knight Returns in my. And I know that's a crazy take, but that's me. That's me.
Oof.
That's a whole nother video
I'd
though.
say that's a crazy take. Oh man, that might, yeah, that's gonna be a different video. But my 2 cents on it is, if the beginning of the volume doesn't start with the number one, there's
Ah,
no way it can be, because then you lose context. You can't start with that volume. So I think if you're
yeah.
saying, like
No,
issues
you're right.
100 to like 120 are the best arc ever, sure, but that volume in trade is never going to be the best trade of all time, just because you need so much
Totally,
context leading
totally
to it.
agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah. No, 100%. But I would rank that Absolute Bane arc. That's why
Yeah.
it's hard for me to, I'm excited for the Scarecrow arc, right? But I would be genuinely shocked, right? Like I would like my jaw would drop forever because if something could top the Absolute Bane arc, bro, like I would be so surprised.
Well,
Like
here's you just talked about stakes, and I'm gonna kind of bring that in a little bit. So in
yeah,
the Bane arc, there are stakes. He's got all this stuff with his friends. He's like literally captured for like half of the arc. He can't do
crazy.
anything. He's worried about what's gonna happen in his city in his absence. But I think if you're talking stakes, the stakes are even higher here. He's got more
Hmm.
adversaries than ever. He's got more people against him than ever. Because previously he was functioning under like, he wasn't like a citywide vigilante. Yeah, I think at the beginning of this issue, you're seeing that people are like spray painting like "Go Batman" everywhere. Like he's become like this like kind of celebrity vigilante now.
Yeah.
And to have all those people kind of turn against him because of the death that he caused, I don't think the stakes have ever been higher. And Bane is he's a very smart adversary for Batman in every single universe, at least if they portray him correctly. Um, but I think the element of like the type of encounters he's gonna have with Scarecrow, it's just gonna be a whole different level, because you have physical and like kind of strategy versus like entirely like mental and chemical and like totally like under the radar. And it's just, I think the setup for this arc is very, very equal to how they started the Bane arc like 10 issues ago.
So I would say I agree with you. I think the stakes are higher with the current setup. But I will say, here's my question to you. Do you think that the journey is as personal as the Bane arc for Batman? Will this be as personal of
Well,
a story?
I don't know, right? Because obviously, like the setup arc right now, we're getting a look at what puzzles are on the board. It'll just be the coming issues that like we're gonna be able to place them together. My personal prediction is, I think it's very intentional that they picked three out of the four main. Obviously, Damian Wayne was not coming into the absolute universe right now, but I think it's
Yeah.
very intentional that they made all the Robins like orphans, and they're all of his like original Robins as well, aside from Duke Thomas. So I feel like there's gonna be a really good storyline with him connecting with them. Because let's be real, the Robins are not gonna stay like bad guys. They're not gonna stay like under Slade Wilson for these series.
Red
Just
Hood. Red Hood.
he might, but I'm like not all the Robins. I think
Yeah, you're right.
the
Yeah.
inkling of Dick Grayson in those like cameo shots throughout volumes 1 and 2 leading up to now, you have a feeling that he's going to be like a force for good alongside Bruce and not like an adversary. Just like because of where those panels were placed in the storyline.
Yeah. And I don't know. I wanted to reference something, at least
Yeah.
to circle back to the original question. I want you to take a look at this cover. This is issue 14, a signed Clayman from MegaCon Orlando. If this
That's
doesn't
awesome.
scream if this doesn't scream, this is the Clayman, variant 1 in 25 incentive issue 14. If this
That's
doesn't
awesome.
tell you, this personifies everything, right? This is the city, you know, not being convinced, but being given that signal, right? Like that light at the end of the tunnel, something to cheer for, to root for, and overcome, the injustices of society, right? Because everyone, the whole universe, the whole absolute universe is created through the cells of Darkseid. We've been taught this. It's in his literal DNA, takes part of every single atom throughout the universe. Everyone is at a disadvantage, except the evil people, right? Because they excel with these conditions, right? So when you have something like this to conclude the arc, right? You have the fight, you have the heart, you have the symbol. You see how tiny the symbol, you see the metaphor that we have here? This represents what Batman is. He's at a disadvantage. I don't think anything can top this. I'll be so for real. Because I think yeah, the stakes might be different, but I think the circumstances could never reach this level of hype. I think the idea of absolute Bane being literally a larger than life character, right? He's built like a building, right? And Batman, even though we've known him as a tank and as a badass
Yeah.
and whatever, he's a fraction. He's tiny. He's just a sliver of this whole page that we have here. But when he's combined with, the people close to him and the city around him, it makes up a huge chunk of the page. Like that is what can fight the oppression in this. And I don't know if the Scarecrow story is going to go in that direction. I think it might be the opposite, where we're starting here and everyone's against him again. That's where my brain's at. So I
Okay.
still think it could be peak, but I don't think it'll hit as hard as Absolute Bane.
We'll have this conversation at the end of the summer then, when we're
For
5 issues
Absolute
down
part
on this
two,
arc.
absolutely. I wanted to
Yeah.
flex my. I really wanted to flex it. I got the custom signature from Clayman.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
truly
awesome.
blessed. Yeah,
I
it's
don't even
tough.
think I have that like unsigned just because I try to avoid like buying stuff digitally, but I don't know if I saw that incentive in my LCSs. So, but that is
No,
a sick cover.
yeah, I bought it off DCBS, which is like
Okay.
the online comic book retailers. They had a bunch
Okay.
of incentives just there, and then you buy
Okay.
them. They just come in on not bagged and boarded, so it's like low key risky. That's
Oh,
just how it goes.
you gotta
Yeah,
trust them.
you gotta buy in bulk, so hopefully they put the good stuff in the middle, and then the ends get kind of messed up.
Okay. And I think I just want to like end off this video by talking about, you know, absolute Batman's place in comics right now. Just because you really can't go a single absolute Batman release week without everyone just talking about it. We saw the sales numbers for 2025 and what was on half of the top 50, absolute Batman. So, you kind of touched on this before, but do you think the sales numbers, the anticipation, the hype, that's all fairly rated? Do you think it's kind of overrated? How do you feel about that?
I think it's hard because there's a huge speculation market coming into comics, which is unfortunate. Like, let's be so for real. Dork number one shouldn't be on a fifth or sixth
Oh,
printing.
no.
Like I love my indie books, right? And I actually read indie, right? But I don't think it's a even close, even White Sky, right? Like let's be honest, like White Sky is cool, but we're probably gonna get to a fifth printing of White Sky for number one,
Who
even though
was
that like
buying these second to fourth printings
it's
though?
the scalpers, bro. There's a huge scalper premium
Yeah.
right
Oh,
now. In terms of commodities and in terms of people who have hobbies, like Pokemon cards is the thing, right? But when you
yeah.
trickle down, when you really break down the science to it, these Pokemon cards are not just at Target and all these stores. They're in comic shops, right? It's a hobby. It's a commodity, and all you have to do is see all the footwork coming in from Absolute Batman from real fans, people who actually read their books, right? And in a scalper's mind, it clicks. It says, "Oh, I need the next big thing, and I want to get in on it early. Let me pick up all of these." Image number ones that hopefully one of them gets turned into a movie, and then I flip it on eBay quick, right? But what I will say is I think the numbers are inflated naturally because it sells out. And what are we on? Like 11th,
11.
12th,
Yeah.
12th printing, right? It's going to get maybe to 15, maybe more. Like we have no idea. Um, but I think a big part of that is new people in the hobby. I think Absolute Batman, it got me into comics. I'll be so for real. At least, yeah, we're all guilty as charged, especially people of our age group, right? I'm talking honestly even younger. Anyone from the ages of like 15, maybe even as low as 12, all the way to like 25, maybe closer to the end of 30s. Like that is a target demographic that Absolute Batman caters to because it's a new starting off point. It's ambitious, it's bold, it's in your face, and it's viral. Let's talk
Yeah.
about viral, right? Because it's
Yeah.
marketed so well. Like you were talking about the Robins, they're everywhere. Everyone's screenshotting, everyone's giving their take on social media. I saw Absolute Bane's design on my For You page pop up, and I was like, I have to know what this is. Because seeing a screenshot, it makes no sense. You have to look it up, right? You have to read it. You know, the synopses are cool, but it's boring. You don't want to watch it. You want to experience it. You want to be in on the hype. You want to be there
Exactly.
on the day it drops. Um, so I think it's inflated, but I don't think it's unrealistic to get to that point. I think the scalpers are doing some market manipulation, but I think if you cut out the scalpers and you give Absolute Batman that animated TV series it's looking for, that
Oh,
adaptation, then we're actually at these levels, like realistically. And then if you add in the scalpers, then we're off the charts. Absolutely. Like 100%. 100%. Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, to your point, previous to Absolute Batman releasing, I was pretty much one of those like compendium readers. Like maybe if it was a really legendary run, I'd have like a trade of it, or I'd have the compendiums or whatever of Invincible, something like that. But Absolute Batman was one of those things where the second you jump in on issue one, you read it, you're like, I need to be there for the drop of the next issue. And I
Yeah.
think it's done wonders for like the comic book community, and I think the like big two as a whole as well, because and with the MCU being in the state that it is, people have never been more starved for like superhero content, and
Literally.
people inherently, I think the last 20 years don't like reading either. So the fact that Absolute Batman's able to break into that, have people read it either digitally, go into their shops, picking it up every month, I think it's awesome. And also the blending of the creative team. I used to think Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo on New 52 Batman would be undefeated, but I think we got a winner. I think the creative team here, not only in the Absolute Universe, but in DC and comics as a whole, they probably have the best blend of tone, and then coloring from Frank Martin is a big factor to that as well.
Incredible.
Um,
Underestimated for sure.
and then Scott Snyder, obviously, he writes master classes. He has some misses, you know. Metal wasn't great.
American Vampire, in my
I
opinion.
haven't read that,
I
but
don't like it.
um so far his work with like the big Batman series, it has not missed yet. And I think it's only up from here. Obviously, you know, as the issues get up, it's going to be a little bit more and more specific. You're going to need more context. So I think hype might fall off to some degree,
For
but
sure.
I believe everything's like totally deserved. I will say the one series that doesn't get the love it deserves is Absolute Superman.
I don't think, I think the problem,
That might be a different video though.
yeah, I mean, for sure. But saying it doesn't deserve, I think Absolute Batman, though, is
No,
designed,
like Superman doesn't get enough love is what I'm saying.
but I think that it's not marketed as well as Absolute Batman. I think that's the difference.
Okay.
Like
You're
we
right.
gotta really, we gotta really consider like the social media presence for Absolute Batman is off the charts, right?
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not to say if you put those absolute brainiac scenarios up on screen, I would have
Oh
lost my
yeah.
mind too. You know, because that stuff is excellent. And I would honestly, if someone told me you can have every single issue of Absolute Batman or Absolute Superman, right? In the future, all of you can have the whole compendium to yourself right now. I'm picking Superman because
Yeah.
the narrative is tighter and it's more impactful emotionally to me. To me,
I
you
agree.
know, I even to an extent prefer the action, which is kind of crazy because Absolute Batman action is great. But besides the point is, I just think I think honestly, this is such a phenomenon because it everything is executed well. I'm talking about the creative team is done well, the publishing is done well, the reprints are done well. You know, the incentives, the social media presence, even the LCS shops, like they know what they're doing. You know,
Yeah.
they
It's
put it
on those
right
like rotating displays right by the door,
exactly.
like right by the
and
checkout.
and how many trades do they have? they have whole sections of the store dedicated to the Absolute Universe, you know, and like 2 rows, the 50% of the rows are Absolute Batman or big three. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's impossible to walk into any LCS in the world right now. Okay, I mean this is an exaggeration, but this is just this is how I feel. I feel like it's impossible to avoid this. It's
Yep.
impossible. It's stamped on everyone's forehead who's involved with comics. You know what I mean? And I don't know many people not reading it.
No,
I
I
don't
don't
know many
either.
people not reading it.
I mean,
You know,
even if people are kind of behind on issues, I got friends who are like waiting for the volumes to drop.
yeah,
So,
I
like the
was like
Bane
that
arc,
too.
it was awesome as I was reading it, but then like 4 months after like that last like issue 14 came out or something, that's when the trade dropped and people were hopping on that. Like my friends that don't even keep up to date
Yeah.
with it were hopping on it.
Yep.
So it's awesome.
And the trades are done so well, man. Like you got to think about like the timing there, because that's how I tracked me to get into the Absolute Universe in the first place. That's how I tracked it. I said, okay, so there's a volume 1 of everything. The volume 2 drops in about a month, right? It's on this rotating schedule. Let me start picking up issue 15 and on, because the second trade gets to 14, and then I'll hop on. Oh, and guess what? The first 15 is absolute is Joker. Are you kidding me? It's a no-brainer, right? The cover's
Yeah.
sick. Okay, I have a first printing A cover. Oh, it's now worth $20 on eBay. Oh, it shot up to 50. Oh, it's graded at 125 to 150 now, 9.8. Okay, I guess this is an investment now. Let me go all in, you know? And
Yeah.
there's a lot of prints, right? But there's always demand, because realistically, anyone who's on Absolute Batman, they have no reason to drop off the series. Like that's the key takeaway,
Yeah.
because it's good. It's consistent. It's hitting its marks, right? So then naturally, what's the next thing? Everyone keeps immersing themselves in this world, and you just add to the pool, more pools, and we're talking like tens of thousands, weekly getting added on. You know what I mean? That 9.8 CGC Absolute Batman #1 first print, blah blah blah. That retains value, if not goes up, because more people are coveting it. Yeah, there you go. I won't get one. I'm more of a Absolute Superman guy myself. But I totally think that. Hold up, I gotta flex. I totally
Wait, you
think that.
Superman? Are you
Did you not
busting
know
out
I
the
had that,
Superman?
dude? Of course,
Wait, wait,
bro.
wait, wait. I got a counter flex. What is going on?
Whoa, whoa. uh, buddy, buddy.
Oh,
Do you
yes,
know who
I
that is?
what?
Yeah, yeah, I
No.
do. Jason Aaron, buddy.
Oh
Jason Aaron.
man.
I know, I know. And then I also got, this is pretty sweet. Clayman assigned my absolute. This is the first Clayman solo issue right here. The number 11.
That's awesome.
Pretty sick. The origin of Bane. But yeah, this is Jason Aaron. Such a nice guy. Tap in Absolute Super. If
Awesome.
you're only reading Absolute Batman, which should be rare at this point, like you should
Yeah.
know that there's so much peak. Um, just keep reading Absolutes, bro. At least big three. You can't go wrong
Yeah.
with big three right now.
I think that's the takeaway of the video today is just Diamond is awesome, but I mean, as you'll see in the channel to come, all
That's
the
inevitable.
absolutes are awesome. So I think, I mean, we've spoken at nauseum about Absolute Batman today, but 100%, if it's not on your weekly poll, do it. Support, the creators. Let them know that they're doing the right thing with Absolute Batman. Um, and yeah, I think that's all we have today.
Go to your LCS, man. You know,
Hell yeah,
go to your LCS and ask people what they think. Because
100%.
anyone who is this far into superhero and nerd media, if you're this far down the rabbit hole, you are passionate. Like
Yeah,
you have something to say, and it's just so easy. You can pick up the pieces, make, long-standing friendships. You can make great relationships with owners, and you get a sick cover to put up on your wall.
yeah,
Like
this one's
I,
sick.
I, I prefer this one, but they're both cool. They're both really cool. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong. And if this is your first time, by some miracle, hearing about Absolute Batman and you love superheroes, just get into it. Pull the trigger, buy the trades, and then just hop on. Or just start with issue 19. Who cares? I mean, you're doing yourself a little bit of disservice, but just go for it.
Yeah,
Can't go wrong. It's all good.
100%.
Like this is all good stuff. Yeah. And thank you, Andrew, letting me talk to you today about this
Yeah,
absolute peak
thank you, D-Rod.
that we're on. Um,
100%. Wait, get the thumbnail shot?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We got for both though. This is that one.
Alright. Alright, but aside from adding Absolute Batman to your pull list, you should like, subscribe, and comment what you're reading down below.
Yeah, and then a little new to comics handle. We are the lighthouse. We are the guide. We are the people who are going to point you in the right direction. If you are interested in anything nerd related, any hobbies, superheroes, manga, internet, whatever, we are going to get you to the right spot and we're going to simplify it for you. We are for all the people, all age groups, and all people who are involved in these hobbies. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone.
Shout out
Bye.
Comic Collective. Shout out New to Comics. Thank you.